This podcast is mostly Jared from Graceful Closure.
A lot of it. A good portion of it. He practically hung out and co-hosted.
He really did. He was with us for, I have here, an hour.
Yeah.
So he comes by because you guys know we got that cold brew coffee maker.
And when we think coffee, we think Jared from Graceful Closure because
every time
he is particular in his love of coffee, and we wanted to get someone who was that devoted to the craft to come in and taste from our carafe what cold brew we were making.
I mean, you saw it.
Oh, there was a lot of it. He's so into it. It's so bad.
Not like when I tell you that he's intense about it.
He really is.
It's not a joke. Like
I would make sure you take some time during the holiday tomorrow or even through the end of the week. If you go to RadioU RIOT on Facebook, you need to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, it's about an hour, but you really will get a lot of Jared.
Facial expressions are a lot.
There's a lot there, man. And he is so expressive when we start talking about coffee. Yeah. I'm seriously amazed by him because I am. There's so many things in my life that I literally am like a...
But he wasn't always like that.
I know. Well, the thing is, though, like...
You could grow into it, too.
But I don't want to.
You don't want to?
I'm not interested. Like, I'm pretty happy in my good enough lifestyle, and I got too many irons in the fire, whatever. But it's always interesting for you to encounter somebody else who does things differently. Like, for me, I'm like, hey, this coffee's good enough. Hey, this whatever is good enough. And Jared would be like, I think we can do better.
In fact, I know we can.
And you know what? The world,
you'll get that in this podcast.
The world needs some people that want to do better, but it also needs some people that can get by.
True.
We need each other. So he could bring me up a little. I could bring him down a little. We meet in the middle.
You meet in the middle where I am.
Yeah. So you know what's podcast? You guys enjoy that. Also in here, we talk about some speed runs, toxicity, Regency era mansions for sale, excessive heat warnings. I don't know about you guys, but I keep hearing about that. And I'm like, what is it? Well, we figure it out.
Well, they talk about that a lot. It's the thing now.
And the last thing you'll hear, benevolent sexism. What is that?
We explain.
We figure it out. So you guys enjoy the podcast. Nikki and I are out for the next 3 days.
You'll get a new podcast on Monday, Is it the 9th or 10th?
I believe it's the 9th because...
Dens is coming in, a band from RadioU.
They're supposed to be joining us that morning.
Yeah, and I think they might perform acoustically. This is all up in the air.
Yeah.
But if they perform acoustically, we should be able to put that in the podcast.
It shouldn't get tagged.
We'll see, though. We'll see what we can do. But please enjoy the holiday if you're getting a few days off as well. And follow us and find us at RadioU RIOT on Facebook and YouTube for more.
All right. Enjoy the podcast. Have a fantastic Independence Day and so on and so forth.
Bye.
Bye.
The Worst of the Riot box set is now available nowhere because we know you wouldn't want it anyway. It's The Worst of the Riot on RadioU.
So, the 4th of July is tomorrow.
Today's our last day of this week.
Is it?
Yay!
Is it? Don't tell anybody.
I thought we should be excited. That way they'll know.
Well, I'll tell you, you're getting Worst of the Riot for 3 days this week. But here's the great news. I just got a brand new Worst of Riot production package. So you'll hear a bunch of new liners.
That's like us being here. That's great. Ba-boom, ba-boom. That's one of those ones where they're like...
Yep. Zipper.
And then you're like, where's it go?
I don't know. Spins.
Big stuff to look forward to this week.
Mm-hmm. I know. So here's what I wanted to do for my Independence Day celebration. I had to decide. Actually, this has two parts. One, I was talking to Zach yesterday. He just watched Independence Day 2. Independence Day Resurgence. I never did.
As a holiday movie, or?
Well, I think just him with some friends over the weekend, because he asked me, he's like, hey, did you ever end up seeing it? The answer is no. And he thought it was on HBO, but whatever they watched it on, it wasn't HBO, because I tried looking for it, because I've got HBO through Hulu now, and it was not on the list. I couldn't find it anywhere. So then I decided, all right, fine. I need a good... mid-90s jingoistic rah-rah America versus the aliens or something kind of movie. And so I went ahead and started a Twitter poll. And I want you to know that if you follow me on Twitter, or even if you don't, I'm Obadiah Radio U. I got my Twitter poll going, and the question is, should I be watching Independence Day or Armageddon?
Oh, so that's the two choices.
Yeah, those are the choices, and you're like, well, there are a lot of other movies. I know, but I grew up with basic cable. We couldn't get the fancy channels.
But now you can afford
that.
with your mini subscription services.
They may have been running Independence Day and Armageddon a lot, and somewhere inside me, I've gotten those movies mixed up with my 4th of July celebration, and got to do something.
So that's the two choices?
Well, that's my question. I just want to know, what do you guys think? What should I watch Independence Day? Which, yes, it does immediately tie into Independence Day. I mean, it's right there in the title. But let's not miss out on Michael Bay's Armageddon, which, I mean...
a classic 4th of July tale.
It kind of is. I'm telling you.
Why don't you watch both of them? You've got the time.
I guess I do.
You can watch both and add the other Independence Day.
Nikki, I appreciate the fact that, you're the only person that has responded with both.
I know your schedule more.
That's true.
Get up at 3 a.m. again, you show it.
You just
start watching the movie.
If you're going to be up at 3 a.m. all week, you got plenty of time to just watch all you want. But I will tell you that currently Independence Day is blowing Armageddon out of the water. And I get it. Welcome to Earth and the title. It just seems like the correct
fits
fit.
Better, I'm sure, with people picking.
The other thing, we mentioned this yesterday, but it's worth mentioning again. I keep saying I'm going to watch the Independence Day sequel. Where's the sale on that?
Well, they know this is the time where you would actually do a rental of it.
Where's the 99-cent rental on Independence Day Resurgence?
That was back at Christmas time, or an obviously very odd time to watch it.
So you're telling me I could get Home Alone 5 for 99 cents this weekend?
Yeah, but at Christmas time or whenever.
That's when the 4th of July movies are up?
Sure.
Okay. I mean, what you're saying makes a lot of sense, Nikki.
Did you check and look on Amazon?
Well, I mean, I'm sure I can probably just rent it.
No, I didn't know. Is it Prime or it's not on Netflix?
Okay, let's see. That's all E's. Independence Day.
I know. I was like, what is this?
What's it called again? Resurgence?
Yeah, Independence Day Resurgence.
It says $2.99 to $9.99. No, we need to watch Independence Wars Insurgents.
That's the off-brand.
And that's on Amazon Prime. That's what we need to watch.
That's what you're watching.
That's what we need to watch.
That's the second one. Look, there's even another Independence Day that came before it. So,
there's
perfect.
Independence Day Resurgence, and then we found Independence Wars Insurgents. And the poster looks exactly the same.
Beyond the dark side of the moon, an ancient portal opens, delivering a ruthless alien species which quickly brings the ill-prepared planet Earth to its knees.
Guys,
I don't know any of the people in that.
Earth doesn't have any knees.
Oh, no. If you click on it, there's a whole customers who watched this item also watched. Those are all on Prime, and they're
Atlantic
all bad.
Rim?
Yes. That Pacific Rim? I don't think so.
I love Alien Convergence. So instead of it being, what was the one from last summer? Alien Covenant?
Yeah.
Alien Convergence.
Close enough. They're hoping you'd be confused. You should totally watch this.
Yeah. I'm not going to, but I'm watching the trailer. I can tell you that right now. It's trailer time.
Someone's review was, I make better movies, and I don't even make movies.
Well, then you're a liar because you got to make a movie.
Oh my gosh, people do. Thought this was Independence Day Resurgence. Similar cover and title to fool you into thinking it was the movie.
That's their whole business model right here.
That's all they do.
Wow.
Oh, well, it would have been fun.
Well, hey, Obadiah RadioU on Twitter. Feel free to stop by and let me know what you think.
There are pros and cons to everything in life, except for the Riot. Here, it's no pros and all. It's the Riot on RadioU.
All right, everybody, gather around. I'm going to teach you something. We're going to learn together, actually. And, hey, anytime you want to call and teach us something, or maybe show us something.
I don't know about that if you phrase it that way. It just leads to maybe someone being mean.
Okay, but our number, text or call, 877-2-RADIO-U.
You can nicely text us anytime you'd like to.
So this is something that is happening all across the United States today, the excessive heat watch. Now, there's a heat watch and a heat warning. So let me read you. I'm going straight to Wikipedia for all my inside information.
And you want to know the difference between a watch and a warning?
Right. And I mean, maybe I'm just not paying attention, but I don't feel like I've ever heard these terms before until this year. I don't know if they're new. Here's what it says. An excessive heat watch is issued by the National Weather Service in the United States when the heat index is expected to be greater than 105 degrees across the northern states or 110 degrees across the southern states.
So that's the window, 105 to 110.
And that's a daytime temperature, with the nighttime temperature being at least 75 degrees or higher for 2 consecutive days.
But it's the feeling like one. You know, it's not the actual temperature.
Yes, heat index, not actual heat. So that's a combination of air quality, temperature, and humidity. And I believe it also brings into effect something to do with the dew point. So that's the watch. Here's the warning. An excessive heat warning is issued by the National Weather Service in the United States within 12 hours of the heat index reaching one of 2 criteria levels. A warning will be issued if the heat index is at least 105 degrees for more than 3 hours per day for 2 consecutive days, or if the heat index is greater than 115 degrees for any period of time. So the watch takes into effect temperature, daytime and nighttime temperature, but the warning is, hey, if it's over this amount and it's going to be this for 2 days, then it goes from watch to warning.
Gotcha.
So there's your heads up for it. And it's, I'll tell you, they're being issued all over the U.S. today. It's very hot.
And they're saying if you are outside, you should wear light and loose, comfortable clothing, drink plenty of water, and you have to be in the shade.
Yeah, as much as
possible.
Or
get inside.
Which is what I'm doing.
I know. You're like, okay, I'll wear baggy clothing and sit inside. That sounds like pajamas.
Yeah, I'll put on some pajamas, get some cold water, and turn the air down.
It would be safer if we all did that today.
I'll go in the basement. It's even colder there. Perfect.
And if you need it, come on over.
And you know what? Look, I'm just telling you, that's what the National Weather Service says. It's
we
not
all
me.
need to be careful today.
They're the ones that said we need to do that.
Dear RadioU, when I was a kid, my parents sent our dog to live on a farm in the country where he could run and play all day. I could ask them for the address if you need somewhere to send the Riot. It's the worst of the Riot on RadioU.
I don't know if you've ever taken time to watch it on Twitch or YouTube, but speed runs for video games. So the idea is that you're not just playing a game, but you're trying to get through it as fast as possible.
I think I've only seen when someone breaks a record with it and then it kind of becomes viral, but they're like, oh yeah, pass Mario and you use all the shortcuts and you finish the game in a super quick time.
It's wild. The only time I ever tried a speed run was one of the Tomb Raider games had an option where every level had a speed run target time. I was like, man, what's that like? So I did. I had one. I picked the first one, which was the shortest one, and I just wanted to see if I could get through on a speed run time. And it took a few shots at getting it right. You got to a place where you almost had to memorize each level, and that in the speedrun community, that's a thing. You memorize levels, and of course, everybody has these different records. But lest you think it's just a bunch of nerds being selfish, I want you to know that one of the things that happens every year is Summer Games Done Quick, and it is a fundraiser that takes place. This year, it was for Doctors Without Borders, and Summer Games Done Quick has announced that they raised $2.12 million.
Whoa, that's amazing.
For Doctors Without Borders.
That's a great job.
Yeah. Now, it's a week-long event. It was June 24th through July 1st at the Doubletree Hilton Hotel in Bloomington, Minnesota. They had 2,200 people that showed up.
Wow.
To be a part of it. And
How much money from 22 just like people a part of the thing?
$2.12 million. Now, of course, people gave online because, they were streaming it.
But I mean,
it
they're the ones
stuff.
that are putting it on. That's amazing.
So Doctors Without Borders is a nonprofit organization that delivers emergency medical aid worldwide to people affected by conflict, epidemics, disasters, or exclusion from healthcare.
I know people kind of give the gaming community a bit of a bad name every so often, but when you talk about fundraising, they are extremely generous, way more than you would think.
So a couple things that you can see. They actually have their own YouTube channel, but there was apparently an amazing Cuphead run. I see one for Tomb Raider, one for Enter the Gungeon, and then there's a bunch of other ones. So my friend's little brother was into speedrunning, and he was also into Rubik's Cube. And so, but him playing, it actually seems like that works for me because they really play it like it's a puzzle, and it is kind of repetitive, but it was hilarious. He was doing, was he doing? Super Mario Brothers? The original, like way, way back. Not even the Super Nintendo one, like the original Nintendo one. And yeah, like he would play over and over. And he'd get to a place where he messed up, reset,
Keep
start
going.
again. Wild.
That's a different style of gameplay.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody.
I hung out with him for a while and watched him. And it was just like, dude.
Can't watch anymore.
You keep it up. I'm going to be over here. If you need something, don't forget to go to the bathroom, okay?
And then others, like when it's just an open world, and you can just walk around very slowly, see what all's going on.
I'm a pretty lazy gamer. Anything that requires me to work hard while gaming,
Not for him.
nope, I'm out.
How does Nikki put up with Obadiah day after day? It's easy. We pay her. RadioU.
Nikki, Regency era.
Yeah.
Is that that's your thing?
I mean,
Isn't it?
Maybe.
Like, tell me, what is Regency era?
I kind of think of it when they're wearing the ball gowns and stuff.
Okay, so is that like...
I would think like Pride and Prejudice, yeah.
Is that when Pride and Prejudice is happening? Is that Regency
I always
era?
think of it that way.
Let's see. Like you know what?
I could be
we have
wrong,
the whole
but-
internet at our fingertips.
We can find
The
out.
Regency in Great Britain was a period when King George III was deemed unfit to rule, and his son ruled as his proxy as Prince Regent. So that would have been the late, what they say, 1811 to 1820. So there's 9 years there.
With the Regency era?
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I had no idea that's what they were referring to. Huh. Okay. So Regency era. Well, Nikki, you'll see here that there is a Regency era mansion that is currently on sale. At one point, it belonged to... Whoa! It used to belong to Elvis Presley.
Uh-huh.
And then it was purchased by Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Okay.
And now for
you can own it.
$23.4 million, I've got a Regency era mansion available for you.
Now, it comes with permits to have a larger house with a 6-car garage on a 1-acre site with it. So I'm not sure if you're allowed to tear it down and like you already have permits
like
to
you
build
can.
it again.
Why would you? If I was going to spend all that money, I don't think I'd tear it
No,
down.
people just buy
I
sometimes
know.
for
You
the
buy
land.
the land and then you
it's
rip it
different.
down.
That is not my style. I mean, I like Regency era stuff, but
Nikki, you get
they
yourself
call
a
this
ball gown and
no,
you could...
this one's different. They call it a French Regency style. That's
What?
different. It is
French
8,878 square feet.
That's not big enough.
You need more.
Yeah, I'm going to need more space than that. And you know what?
That is not my style.
It's funny. I don't want ultra modern, but I also don't want Regency era. I need space age.
This is a weird collection of styles once you see the pictures of it, so I could see someone tearing that down.
I would like a little bit of time in that pool, though. You know, before you guys tear it down, if you could just give me a couple of hours. I just want to relax poolside here.
Outside, that does look nice.
You know, just hang out a little bit. No big deal. Don't mind me, okay? I want a pool.
Look at the oven, though, in the kitchen. It's so old.
Wait, I'm scrolling.
It's the gray room.
No, but it looks like the oven just looks like a commercial oven to me.
Maybe.
Like you would open it up and it's like, because it's a convection oven.
Is that what a commercial oven sounds like?
Have you ever worked with a commercial oven?
Well, yeah. A convection oven.
So, yeah, that is what it sounds like. You put the stuff in. They got those huge swinging doors with multiple racks. And, yeah.
I think, though, that's just old. If you look at the rest of the kitchen, it's just older.
It is an older
It's
kitchen.
an older style.
It's all metal, like Jurassic Park.
We'd have to get together, and I feel like if we want to buy this old house, $23.4 million, I do believe, though, you'd probably have some updating to do. And that might be just tearing it down. So we're going to need more millions.
You know what? I think I've looked at building a home in Bel Air, and I think I'm just going to look somewhere else. I feel like I can get more house for my money if I would just choose a different location.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'll probably just wait. And
You want me to contact the real estate agent then?
Well,
Let them know we're not interested?
Yeah, I'm feeling good about... My budget was more like in the $19 to $20 million range, and this is $23 million.
You have to know your budget.
Yeah, like I don't want to end up overextending.
True.
So,
and we know that there'll be a lot of cosmetic changes with this, so then we're over budget.
Plus, I mean, I got to have at least $1 million for the TV I'm buying. So
that's again, I'm going to just reiterate, that is not my style.
Okay. Well, I just saw that it was a Regency era thing, and I was like, Nikki will love that.
Not the same thing.
It's not the same.
Nope, not at all.
The worst of the riot. It's like Lucky Charms, but no marshmallows. RadioU.
Are you going to be celebrating the 4th of July at a picnic? Maybe
Pay attention, please.
a potluck where everybody's bringing food from home. I don't know, Nikki, does that sound familiar?
We're doing that today.
We're having a RadioU potluck / picnic / barbecue for lunch today at the studio.
Where you're supposed to bring something to add to the table. That's what a potluck is.
I brought soda.
That's fine.
Everybody's going to be glad I did.
So wait, are you drinking from your own stash then? With it today?
No.
Oh, is it a separate
like
one?
In the break or the promotions, we have a second
back fridge.
I got 5 2-liters and 10 bottles of water back there.
Oh, great.
That should be enough, right?
That should be plenty.
Okay. I will say when I got done, I realized I had 3 diet varieties and 2 regular, and that was a mistake.
Why?
Because that's what I drank, and then I was like, bro, like, you got to get people like real soda. You can't just be dieting.
You got to ask them what they want.
Up for people, so whatever. So, okay, here we go, Nikki. You go to a potluck, which is what happened at a party. It was a birthday party in Forest Hills, Charlotte, this past weekend. They had about 100 people, which is a heck of a birthday party.
That's big.
My last birthday party, it was me and my mom and some Skype. So, like...
Everybody's different.
Yeah, I guess everybody's...
Some people have a larger network of friends that are actually physically there.
Okay, so there's 100 people there. 40 people...
Got ill.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Nikki, medical terms.
Oh, don't.
Violent vomiting.
Oh, don't. It's from the potluck food.
And watery diarrhea.
Stop it. You don't even have to say it. You can just say... No, we know what it is. We know.
Do you want the news?
No, I don't need those details.
Do you want the news or not?
I don't want that.
40% of the people there got it.
That's a shame. What was the culprit?
Well, the culprit is a bacteria called Shigella. Mm-hmm.
What dish was that in?
They think it may have been in a potato salad, but Shigella's only passed one way, Nikki.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know. It's fine.
No, you need to know.
People are not washing their hands. Is that the way?
It's only passed through fecal matter.
Stop! It's so... This is ruining the holiday.
There was poop in the food.
No, it's probably people...
They say that most likely someone
Did they make it in the bathroom?
Someone went potty.
Sure.
And then didn't wash their hands before making the food.
Oh! Can you imagine the embarrassment for the person that if they could track down, like, hey, this is your potato salad and you didn't wash your hands?
They can't track it down, but here's the thing is that
who made it?
That out of those people, there are 99 possibilities, or it's you. All of a sudden you're like,
oh no.
I never washed my hands before I cook.
And I made the potato salad.
I so made potato salad.
Now, all joking aside and all grossness aside, they say at potlucks or like picnics and stuff, you're really supposed to be careful about what you eat.
Okay,
but I don't know
how are you
how you're supposed to
be careful?
I don't know. Bring your own food.
Yeah,
bring your own.
Look around. I don't know. That potato salad looks too salady for me.
It's normally potato or like a macaroni salad. It seems to be in that little wheelhouse.
In fairness, potato salad, macaroni salad, they don't get cooked. I mean, so I guess the macaroni does, but they just, the ingredients
So stick with maybe cooked foods.
All right, well, I'm just going to eat. You're bringing chips, right?
Yeah, chips. And then we've got hamburgers and hot dogs. That's fine. That stuff I don't think we can get this from.
Just leave it at that?
Oh, yeah, because we have 3 days off, and I do not want anything to happen.
No, we're going to the movies today. I'm not getting the botulism cheese. I'm eating nothing.
We're taking it easy.
I'm eating nothing.
I don't want anything to change our holiday plans.
No, Nikki, no.
I know, I'm just saying. We don't want to.
Oh, man. Do you know it was a couple of years ago I had some time off and I got so sick.
I know, you gotta be careful. So as long as we...
sick I've ever been.
Let's make a pact. No potato salad, no nothing today.
I'm not eating now.
No movie theater stuff.
I'm not eating today. I'm done. I'm out. No eating today. I'm not eating until I get home.
Be safe.
There are a lot of reasons to listen to the Riot every morning. For example, give me a minute. There's got to be at least one. It's the Riot on RadioU.
If you're anything like me, and I think most of you are to some extent.
Well, you have a
thankfully
little,
not.
a little part just like him. I'm
Right.
sure somewhere in you.
You've got stuff that you like, right? Like, there's something that you like and you follow and you pay attention to, and then you'll find that anything you're caught up in, whether it's something that you're a fan of or a political party you're a fan of, I mean, just whatever, right? The examples almost don't even matter because the behavior is the same. And that is that you like something, then there's a group of people that don't like it. And so then it starts. The people who don't like start in on this, then you go back at them and back and forth, and then it gets really ugly, and then you see this. Super crazy ugly, and what do you answer with? Super crazy ugly. So, for example, one of the things I was looking at this morning is all of this talk about, it's called toxic fandom. Mm-hmm. It's when people are fans of something, but then it turns ugly. And what's interesting is that all of these people are becoming toxic about things that are toxic. So it's funny that the very thing you're trying to hold up a mirror to, you are becoming just as terrible as the thing you were trying to be like, hey, look how terrible this thing is.
Do you think anybody realizes or just you slip into it?
I think you slip into it. And I think it's a pretty natural thing to do. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that it's super easy for us to do that, which is why, and again, this is something that the more I think about it, the more mind-blowing it is. I want you to think about a couple of things that Jesus laid out. One of them was this idea of the golden rule. Have you heard of it? He didn't call it that. We do. But treat others the way you want to be treated. And the world suddenly changes. Think about that for just a minute. If I, every time I did something, stopped and said, would I want somebody to do that to me? The whole world changes. Now, I know we've got varying standards. So, I mean, some people will be like, yeah, it's fine with me. I don't care. That's why we have laws, because we...
It helps with that.
We need a few things out there, whatever. But just think about if when we went to the internet today, if we were like, okay, I am not going to say anything to or about anyone that I would not want anyone saying to or about me. Boom. I'm just going to take a step back. That doesn't mean there isn't room for criticism, but you understand that there's a pretty significant difference between criticizing actions and just getting ugly. You get that, right? Okay. Maybe you don't. Think about it. It'll come to you. Here's the other thing that Jesus was talking about. Forgiveness. Well, that just stops things in their tracks. Because think about this, all right? I'm toxic and ugly and nasty, and I treat you so poorly. So your immediate response is toxic and ugly and nasty right back at me. And so you and I get caught up in a cycle that feeds itself constantly, right? Well, guess what? Someone has to stop the cycle. And let's be clear, that's not an easy thing for you to step back and say, okay, your behavior is wrong. You're hurting me. I'm not okay with this. I forgive you. Now, that doesn't mean you have to stay in that toxic place. You can just walk out. Just say, all right, I forgive you, and I'm leaving because I'm going to remove myself from the situation where you can continue to hurt me that way. I'm leaving. But forgiveness stops things in their tracks. I mean, it stops. Everything stops. It's crazy. Man, if Jesus knows so much about two little things that could radically transform the internet, what else does he know about? It's worth looking into, man.
Want to know what the Riot is doing right now? Follow them on Instagram and Twitter at riot.radiou.com. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
Joining us this morning in the studio is Jeremy of Graceful Closure fame. I keep calling you Jeremy. You know what it is?
You doing that?
Okay, no.
You should have just played it off like a joke. Now I'm hurt.
No, it's not even a joke. I think it's because we talked to Jeremy from Crusoe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I feel like ever since we did that, even off air, I've called you Jeremy, and I'm like, what is the problem?
And he's had a similar beard, like you're not shaving going on, and it seems like you're having the same look as him.
You guys,
dad life.
You guys are sweating each other. That's what's happening right now.
Nice.
So.
I've actually never even met him. So.
He's a great
really
guy.
like him.
I think you guys would get along famously.
Nice.
So
we could be famous together. That'd be great.
That would be great. Now, you're here for a reason. Tell us about, so Nikki and I got a cold brew coffee maker a week ago.
Yes,
or
about
so.
that.
And Jared, just to let you know, every time I drink coffee, I think of you.
Well, if you have not seen any of our past interviews with Graceful Closure, that usually comes up because you have a coffee cart and you're just personally very invested in passionate
Called
about coffee.
Oh my God.
And so when you have no idea
pretentious about coffee.
We got this
things
cold
like
brew
that.
coffee system, and so it takes like 30 to 40 minutes to do a thing of cold brew, where normally it can take 15, 16 hours. When we posted about this last week, the comments from people of like, that's not cold brew. How could you possibly do that?
Real.
That's an abomination to God. It was just like, guys, it's just cold brew. So people are passionate about this subject. So we thought we'll bring you in. You can bring your own beans in, and then you can decide, is this anything good at all?
So talk to us about the beans. Okay, wait, pause. Nikki, you said that he owns his own coffee thing, but Jared, talk to us a little bit about your coffee journey.
My coffee journey. Oh, man. Okay, so I didn't even drink coffee until I got into college.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that forced me into it because when you're in a band and then you're like working full-time jobs because the band doesn't pay you money and then you have to go to school.
You have to stay up somehow.
You have to stay up. Like, I kid you not, one day I stayed up 3 days.
Really?
I stayed up. I fell asleep and I hit a car the third day.
Oh my gosh.
And there was no scratch or anything. And I told myself I will never do that again.
Dude, I don't
And
even
then
know.
I prayed and I went home.
I had a friend in college. Her name was Shelly. She could do that. She'd be up for like 2 days, and I would see her, and she would seem awake and happy. And I'm like, no way. Like, once I hit 24 hours, things start to go downhill.
Yeah. Well, it changed
fast.
for me. It changed for me. And so my girlfriend at the time, my now wife, she worked at a coffee shop in Toledo called Big B Coffee. And it's like a franchise.
Oh,
We've
yeah,
been
I
to
love
Big B.
that.
Yeah, so she worked there for 4 years, all throughout her nursing school. And so I would go visit, and they would book her to be like the only girl. I mean, here this is like a young, beautiful girl, and she has to open and close the shop by herself. So it just annoyed me. So I would go with her to open, and then I'd show back up like when she closed, so she wasn't by herself.
Look at this guy.
And she would make me coffee.
Aw, that's where it started.
Yeah, and I didn't really like coffee, so she started, like the traditional white girl
milkshake.
thing where you get me a little bit of milkshake and put some espresso in it.
Mostly whipped cream.
Yeah.
That sort of
and
stuff.
Then, so that's where I started. I started as a poser.
Yeah.
And over time, I translated into...
This is real.
Yeah.
And it's not a joke.
It just got to the point where I needed more caffeine and I couldn't afford to put other stuff in it. Like, I had to fit as much in it as possible.
You wanted it as pure as possible, right?
Hey, man, I feel that. You know what? For me, it's just been a slow progression until I finally got to the place where I prefer cold brew. And I'll drink cold brew black.
I love cold brew.
But like if we do just like a drip coffee maker, I usually put cream in that. Now, does that make me, I mean, it's still lesser. Did you hear him right there? He's like,
my bad, guys. That was Obi. He's just blaming it on me.
Sure. You know what? I'm going to be in the middle. I'm not going to say who that was.
I just feel, I was asking him if that still put
Struggle
me too
bus.
far down. And he's just like, you talk about getting snotty. Like he just did.
He just did.
He just did it.
So Jared from Graceful Closure brought in a blend for us to try. Because last week when we tried this machine, we used Dunkin' Donuts, which people love or don't love.
I wasn't going to tell him that because I figured if we told him, it would be like everything would be bad.
Hey,
right
I didn't
there.
know you were going to use my coffee for this machine.
Well, we wanted to because Dunkin' Donuts does not work.
I hope I have enough.
It's not even. It's not a cold brew type coffee. It's good, but it wasn't the best. So we wanted to see what you would bring.
Now, Jared,
We can try. I just don't know how much it takes. I have enough for probably like 3 or 4 cups in here.
How many scoops do you think you have in there?
4 to 6.
4 to 6. Okay, that's actually enough for 3 cups of coffee.
Sweet.
So
Okay.
we'll get 3 cups out of it. And
Awesome sauce.
I noticed that you already brought money up. If you want, I've got.
Money.
I got a couple
put it in
dollars here.
in the
if you want
coffee
me to
Charging
put it
me.
towards Well, I'm just saying because coffee is at a premium. I understand.
Dude,
that.
coffee is so much money.
So
I know.
This is going to take about 30 minutes. Now, Jared, you can hang out with us, or you can lay your head on the table and sleep if you would like.
I'm in.
You can
I'm
hang
in.
out.
I'm
okay,
here.
well, let's start the
Okay,
machine.
because you know what? I'll tell you what. We're going to start the machine, and then
Is this it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Did you? Did you guys?
Did you hear that? Did you hear it?
I don't know if you could see it, but the disdain that he immediately had for it was
really nice.
unbelievable.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh, dude! Did that just happen? Did you see that?
Okay. Well, you know what?
The snobbery is real. Like it is real.
We knew that was a possibility. Just go ahead and start the very, I think, nice looking, but apparently not machine over there, and then we'll try the cold brew in about 30 minutes.
The Riot with Obadiah.
Oh, loneliness and cheeseburgers are a dangerous mix.
The Riot with Nikki.
Shut up.
Oh, don't tell me to shut up!
The Riot on RadioU.
So Jared from Graceful Closure will be here for the next 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
As we are making our cold brew and our quick cold brew machine to see what he thinks.
Man, if you want to see his reactions live, you should really, right now, Facebook.com/RadioU.
Like, Jared, I knew going into this you were really into coffee. Like, I knew that. But I feel like this morning has put that on a whole different level for me. I didn't know it was quite like this far into it.
Dude, your reaction to the coffee maker was priceless.
Now, can I ask, what did
Priceless.
you not like about the look of this cold brew coffee machine? Which, by the way, that's it burring in the background.
Yeah, you can hear it. And just so people know, it is a Cuisinart DCB10.
Well, that in and of itself.
Because it's a Cuisinart? Is that it? Is that
It's
why?
got like home written all over it.
Well, where else is it supposed to be?
Where do we live, bro? I live at home.
Yeah, but I mean, typically, like, things that are great are made in a commercial setting. So, like,
Oh.
because you don't want to have a $3,000 grinder at your house and a $10,000 espresso machine.
Wait,
so you
stop,
buy the home one.
Stop. Okay.
I don't have those, for the record.
Sure, I was going to say, what do you have then?
But that when you go to a coffee shop, that's what those, like,
So would you rather have coffee from a coffee shop than have it at home? Because, I mean, who can afford the same amount of stuff?
well,
Like, you think it tastes better at the coffee shop?
if it was going to be like an espresso drink
Mm-hmm.
that has like milk in it, like a latte or cappuccino or something, I would never make it at the house.
Oh, gotcha.
But
Never.
He would never
I just
make
dare
it at
we?
the house.
How dare
Never.
we?
I just can't afford the stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, no. You can't afford the stuff to make it to your standards.
Sure.
Plenty of people can hit a gas station and get a 99-cent cappuccino.
Well, that is not a cappuccino. That's a button. They press a button.
Okay, I'm worried because I don't think Jared would like anything that we would,
I mean, no,
normally
literally,
stop by
literally,
at.
it's not a cappuccino.
Sure.
Don't you hear what I'm saying?
No, I mean,
It is not
I'm not saying
a cappuccino.
I'm not saying it's a bad cappuccino. I'm just saying it literally isn't a cappuccino.
Oh my gosh.
Like a cappuccino, like you have to have the milk literally steamed a certain way with the right amount of froth.
Sure.
The button at a gas station, they don't even steam the milk.
It's just all in the same little nozzle coming
packet.
down. It's a packet.
Yeah.
Do you like anything from what would be a more normal, like, hey, I stopped here and I just grabbed this, or like I was at the car dealership and they had the little coffee machine. Is there anything along those lines that you do like from the little machine?
Well, okay, so Graceful played a show.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's called Resound Fest, like out by Kansas City and stuff a couple weeks ago. And we stopped at a few gas stations. And you guys know Casey gas stations?
No, we do not.
Is that
like-
regional?
I mean, we know Wawa. we know
Nah, they're like
Sheetz.
Illinois, Missouri, like all
it's
of
called
that.
Casey's.
Casey's, yeah.
That's regional. What you just said describes a regional gas station.
Well, yeah, but I mean, regional can be multiple different places, right?
Right.
Okay.
So I'm
Don't
giving you a
argue with
location,
Jared.
No,
bro.
listen, I'm just going to say, like, the attitude he takes with coffee, that's
that
what I
regional?
take. No, that's the attitude I take
Anyways.
with gas station food, okay? That's what I'm saying.
So
He's
did
like,
they have
No,
something?
please continue. Please continue.
Hey, Sheets has an espresso machine. They have like a La Marzocco, like a legit one.
Yeah, I know. I was just
They don't
out
know
of
how to
Sheets.
use it.
You know what else they have?
But
Dad, you were so close. He was so close to a compliment.
anyways, back to my Casey's thing.
No,
They
back to
they
Sheets.
carry cold
Focus
brew.
on me.
They carry cold brew.
Yeah,
Cold
they do.
brew? Okay.
Yeah.
They do.
They had multiple kinds of cold brew.
I didn't want to try it though. You might see a little Jeremy in me or Jared in me. Gosh, I keep calling
I'm
Jared
leaving.
Jeremy.
Be back in 30 minutes.
I know. Come when it's done. I'll call you.
Okay, I literally was like, you know what? Their cold brew is not going to be any good.
You
I
got
don't want
snotty
it.
with it?
I did. I was like, it's not
Look at
good
you.
enough. So, are you proud of me or?
Well, so they had at Casey's they had this nitro cold brew, and you
Which
guys know
can
what
be
nitro-
really, oh yeah.
yeah. And so you would get it. It was like the design and everything on the can was like legit. Like it was well put together. You would shake it to like get it, all that fizz
Sure.
or whatever from the nitro,
Uh-huh.
and it tasted great.
Okay. Well,
All
there's
right.
one.
I mean,
And that
there
was
was
from a
I got a
gas
few
station.
others and they tasted awful, but that one tasted
There
good.
was one
Okay.
there.
Okay.
All right, you guys. So we got cold brew going. We will
Yeah.
be testing it in probably about 20 minutes when it'll be ready.
Turn it up loud enough and your neighbors will call the cops. Because it's obviously a cry for help. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
We got Jared from Graceful Closure.
There he
Good
is.
morning.
There he is.
So we are working on a cold brew. You can, if you want to watch, go to Radio U or Radio U Right on Facebook, and then we're on Facebook Live there. We're making our cold brew for him to try in less than 20 minutes.
If you hear kind of a weird sound, that is the coffee maker over there to Jared's right, that you can see it, and there it is. So, Jared, how's Graceful Closure? You know, the band you're in.
Yeah, rocking.
Yeah?
Actually, we're not really rocking right now.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm a dad now.
Okay.
That's a new thing.
So you are rocking, but it's more of a back and forth kind of thing.
Well,
With the baby?
I like what you did there.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. So we took about a 3-month break from shows, and we just kind of started back up. We have some
Okay.
festivals and stuff coming up, but mainly we've been writing and recording, and we have some stuff finished.
Okay, sweet.
And yeah,
So when you say writing and recording, are you guys looking at doing some more of like the single kind of thing, or are you going to start looking into album or EP, or are you not saying?
He has that look in his face like it's more like a nonsense.
like I want to tell you,
Okay, all right. Tell me what you can, and then we'll just stop.
the idea, as long as everything goes as
Planned.
intended, it will be a lot of music. I don't know if it will be a traditional like album,
Okay.
but the idea is to release a lot of music. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't want to give it away. That like
all of our questions. That
Okay.
was good.
Yeah.
all right.
Well,
Yeah.
for some bands, they're more comfortable. Like they'll just have one song done and go ahead and send it out. Where others, they'll take a longer process, wait
Yeah.
for a complete like traditional type of package to be done.
Yeah.
So you just kind of never know what's going to work for.
yeah,
a
I
band.
can tell you about the process. It's what we're doing now is totally different than what we've been doing, and
Well,
that is
explain the differences. Compare and contrast.
yeah, compare and contrast. We did not hire a producer this time or mixing engineer, or we did hire a mixing engineer. We didn't hire like tracking, any of that. We did everything
On your own?
on our own.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a bold move.
And
It
yeah,
is.
we actually didn't do it for years because we didn't think we were good enough. But we just decided to give it a try because like when you hire a producer, a lot of the times like stuff kind of gets filtered out,
Sure it
lost
does.
in
Yeah.
translation. And
so
we
this
were,
can be more like what sound you want it to
Yeah,
go with, so
yeah.
it doesn't get changed.
so we literally have spent like 90 hours per song.
Oh gosh!
Yeah,
Wow.
like rewriting, writing, recording. I've recorded vocals and then rewrote it and re-recorded vocal, like nuts. But like the finished products are sonically in every way, like way
What you
better.
wanted to go
Yeah,
with.
like they're I'm super proud of them.
Okay. So
yeah.
I will tell you sometimes, I'm not saying this about you, but sometimes when bands come in, they're like, hey, we produced it ourselves. And we're like, yeah,
It
we didn't think
sounds awful.
we didn't think
Yeah.
it sounded very good. But, we don't tell them that.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, they don't want to say
Yeah.
that.
So, I mean, you went in afraid. How do you get ready to do that? You said you've been spending 90 hours on a song. Like, it's just, hey, we've done enough. We think we can do it. Let's just do it till we get it right.
Yeah, we were in a lot of songwriting sessions in Nashville and stuff for a while. And so I was like watching like Grammy producers and stuff do these things. And I'm like looking at what they're doing. And I'm like,
You can do
that's fair.
So,
why not give it a try?
So
I would have a hard time at the end to be like, okay, like you said, like calling it at the end going, because otherwise I would just keep tinkering with it forever and ever and ever. You got to call it at some point and call it complete.
And I was nervous because like I've heard the bands that do their own and it doesn't sound very good. So I sent it to like top industry people that I was like blessed to be connected to over the past year and didn't tell them that I produced it.
Sure.
And it was literally like the first song I sent them, they said out of all the songs I sent them last year, which I wrote probably over 60 songs last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This one was their favorite.
That was
the first
it.
one. Yeah.
Well, it makes me want to hear it, dude. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I sent the first one to Nikki, so
Sorry.
you can hear it if you want.
Listen, you know what? It's fine.
I wasn't going to say that to him.
But she doesn't have the master. I have the master now, so I'll send that to you.
Don't play each other against each other. Come on.
I think everybody knows that at the end of the day, Nikki's the special one and I'm not.
No, like it's a team effort. Team effort in here.
Team effort. That's like when they hand out the
I do think she has like program director title or something, right?
I'm the
are you the
director.
I'm operations
but nobody
manager.
cares.
See? Sorry, bro.
Nobody cares.
It's because you're humble.
Government.
You are humble.
No, it's not. It's a shadow government. I have a title with no authority.
That's amazing.
Shadow government, people.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Did you know the Riot can help you see into the future? Every time Obadiah says he likes a show, impress all your friends by correctly predicting it will be canceled by the end of the year.
Canceled.
What are you talking about? It's not funny.
Works every time. It's the Riot on RadioU. Kind of stuck with them. It's the Riot on RadioU.
It is the Riot joining us in the studio. We definitely have Jared of Graceful Closure fame right here.
Is the cold brew machine, do you think, almost done? Are we getting
I think
close?
it's done.
Is the light flashing?
No.
No, okay. It's got to be getting close though. Like we're coming up on the 40-minute mark.
Well, we're gonna try this cold
16
brew.
16 hours later. Tastes great.
It's like it's just the amount of time that a normal cold brew was.
Oh, Jared.
Well, I got a couple of text messages. Let's see. Nathan, I think, is trolling you, Jared, because he wanted to know if you've tried the McDonald's cold brew frozen drink.
No, I don't believe it.
You don't believe in it? Or?
I don't believe it.
Okay, dude, but come on. I want you to tell him what you told us that you have had.
I have
had McDonald's coffee.
I have had McDonald's coffee because I was a poor newlywed 5 years ago. Now I'm just a little bit less of a poor newlywed.
Okay.
But,
all right. Okay.
Changed.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nathan also wanted to mention that the cold brew machine we're using, which might be what you hear in the background, sounds like it's making iced coffee, not cold brew. Is it brewing hot water over coffee or cold water? It's taking cold water and it's like filtering it over and over and over again.
Yeah, like it is cold water.
Mm-hmm.
Like it came from the fridge and I put it in there. So like it is not a hot coffee poured over ice kind of situation.
No, it's cold.
Like it is straight up a
and then
cold.
Aaron is in D.C. Wanted to know, Jared, are you still doing a coffee cart or a cacti pop-up shop? And then so for the coffee, who is a single origin snob? And if so, what's your preferred region?
Yeah, so I don't do the coffee pop-up as much unless it's like a real special event and it works out well. I do the cacti pop-up a lot.
So people can just request you to come and like make a pop-up somewhere?
Yeah, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I have relationships with like boutiques and stuff in
so
Columbus,
go
so I
there.
kind of schedule them. But
Sure.
but I mean, I actually did a pop-up at a dentist.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wait.
idea.
Do you mean a coffee pop up at a dentist
No,
or a
plants.
Yes.
Yeah, I brought in, dude. I literally,
soothing
I
that would've
sold
been.
I've sold a 5-foot cactus at this dentist, and then I sold a 4-foot cactus at this dentist, and then a bunch of small ones. Yeah.
Man, dude, I want you to know your world and my world are so different. different. Like, it's amazing.
You could never
I've never had
imagine
a 9 to 5 in my life.
It's amazing how different our worlds are.
Every time I like go think like I should get a 9 to 5, then I think, but I could make more money and have full control of my schedule by selling plant. I'll just do that.
You'll just go with the plants. So
Just
you
sell
never
plants.
know, Aaron, where a plant cacti pop-up might just happen.
Yeah, but the cacti.shop, that's our URL.
That's
Check it out.
And then let's see, what's your preferred region?
Man, I like Yirgacheffe, Ethiopia, probably
Okay.
the most. But like it changes. But I like Ethiopia, yeah, or
Ethiopia?
African coffees in general.
Well, okay.
Although I really like Costa Rica too. So.
Well, now you're not narrowing it down.
Sorry.
You're
Do
adding more.
Sorry, I like more of the berry flavored versus like the nutty. She'll understand that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Aaron, did you get that? Did you get his answer? Okay.
You know what? That's something I actually understand. I know I can
You
tell
got
the
that
difference
part?
between a
Yeah.
nutty and a. Though I do have a tendency to prefer a nutty coffee
Yeah,
to a
yeah.
berry coffee. So,
That's cool.
But I mean, I realize that means it's not as good.
No, not at all. It just means
And
means
that's
it's
fine.
probably from like South America or something.
Compared to the berry coffees, which
yeah,
might be
it's like
from some
African coffees and what.
I can't remember where my coffee comes from. I have a friend of mine that owns a shop in Newark, Ohio called Coffee Shack Roasters, and he roasts coffee, but I can't remember where the actual coffee is from. But
That's what you
It's
need to
good.
work on then, because you should know.
Yeah.
I know I should.
You should be very well aware.
I should. Though, you know what? You probably, Jared, like, you would probably still not like what I do because I get one of his, like, special. So I got, like, some Highland grog, but that means there's been flavor that's added to the coffee, and that's probably not, you're not into that, right?
No, I don't do that.
So you're supposed to always add flavor after you've made the coffee,
No,
or no adding
he doesn't
flavor.
want. The
Even
coffee
there?
is the flavor,
Oh.
Nikki.
Yeah,
That's
like
what I'm
okay.
saying. Like,
Here's I think that great coffee doesn't need flavor. And
Sure.
so if you're adding flavor, that's because you're not drinking great coffee. So like if I went and got a black coffee at Dunkin' Donuts, I probably would want someone
add
to
flavor,
drop like
sure.
vanilla or something.
Like a
in
donut.
it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just put it in the coffee.
Man, I'm about to
Yes.
shout.
I do like donuts.
Suddenly we're agreeing on that flavor. That's the good one.
Okay, so
But yeah. But I think really good single origin coffees, if they're roasted well, they don't
Should not need any help.
Yeah.
man, I knew it. What the thing? One more time, like whatever I like, Jared's 3 steps ahead
This
of it.
is what makes the world great. We all have different likes, okay?
Yeah, well, you know what? Like, I got to stop hanging out with you artists. You guys take things to these wonderful levels, and I'm
You just
like,
can't day to day
No,
live
you know
that
what?
way.
I live in a world that Jared doesn't. And I live in a world of good enough, and Jared's like, we can make it better.
We can do more. We can do more.
We can push it farther. Like, come on.
Recycling paper is like planting a tree. Recycling the RIOT is like burning down the rainforest.
We ain't gonna be in no fire, not today.
It's the worst of the RIOT on RadioU.
It is the riot on RadioU.
Okay, look, I was trying to start the recording and it messed up, but I got it. I got it.
Hey!
So-
welcome, Jared from Graceful Closure. The
Hey.
moment he's been with us for a
while.
long time this morning. We've been testing this cold brew machine that we got. Normally with cold brew, it takes a long time. Sometimes, what's your optimal time for cold brew?
I do 16 hours.
16 hours. So this is, I think,
At room temp.
45 minutes. Would you say that this one took?
Mm-hmm.
So we just want to know your thoughts on, with your coffee,
Yeah.
how is a quick cold brew going to be?
So tell us about the actual coffee that we're drinking.
Your coffee
What
smells so good.
What is it?
Good.
Mm.
So it's from Kenya,
Okay.
and it is kind of old. It was roasted on June 11th.
Oh, how dare you bring that in?
It's
How
kind
dare
of
you?
old, man.
I thought you were talking about like last year. I was like, okay, great.
Okay.
No, but you're supposed to like drink coffee within the first 3 weeks. that it's
Are you?
roasted.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
You say that like everybody knows that, but I don't think everybody does.
Well, they do now.
Now we do.
And so here's the important thing to know that like in grocery stores, most of the time they don't even have it on the shelf until after 2 months after it's roasted.
So
Everything in a grocery store,
is old.
as far as coffee goes, yeah, it's like you shouldn't buy it.
So that's why you should really buy local.
Yeah, like buy at the local coffee roaster, and you'll get it like 3 days old.
Okay. See, we're learning stuff. We're learning.
Yep, we are. Okay, now, here we go in. The smell is, it smells wonderful.
So good.
It smells so much better than Dunkin' Donuts.
It does. We did last week at Dunkin' Donuts through the cold brew machine, but that is not coffee for a cold brew.
You know what?
It's not.
It is like we buy Dunkin' Donuts here, which is I've said it before. I'm grateful for free coffee, and it's better in the cold brew machine than it is hot.
Yeah.
So that. All right.
I think we needed to
I feel
make
like
it
cold
stronger.
brew masks
a lot
like
of the
bad coffee a little bit.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. Well, it takes all that acid out. All right. Well, here we go. What do we got?
Oh, that's actually really good. That coffee's a lot better.
Man, I think it's delicious.
What do you think?
No, I think it's good.
Okay, now,
okay, we know it's not 16 hours, but in a pinch, if you had to make do.
Oh, yeah, I would do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but tell us, versus a 16-hour cold brew, where you land on this?
What would the taste difference be?
So, first of all, it's dirty.
Is it?
You know what I mean?
I do.
Like it's
For those of us who don't in the room.
So, there's like
Is
the
there
filter
little grounds in there or no?
You're not going to see any grounds, but like a little bit of the powdery stuff makes it through that filter.
Sure.
So like if you have like a thicker paper filter, it literally cannot get through
So
it.
it'll
But
catch
since there's
more?
like little holes in this metal thing, a little bit of the powder stuff gets through. So it's
Now,
like dirtier.
If you had done a coarser grind, would
Yeah,
that
it would have
helped?
made it less.
Okay.
But because it's a metal filter, like it's going to happen. You know what I
Okay,
mean? Because there's
sure.
legit holes in
You'll
it.
still
Sure.
have some
While
of that.
paper, there's no holes. You know?
Okay.
I'm learning so much.
I think it tastes good. Like
Yeah.
it tastes to me like, this is going to sound a weird way to put it, but like cold brew flavored iced coffee.
Sure.
Okay.
So like it tastes like
I know, I
iced
see what you're
coffee
saying.
with a hint of like cold brew, because like when you do that cold brew, there's just like there's like no acidity to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like it's not as strong and it's not as
It's
like
like in between.
yeah.
Yeah. You know what?
But I like it. And for 40 minutes, I don't think it's bad.
Okay. Well,
And you know what I think I would do? I would get like one of those like V60 things I was talking to you about, like those pour over things, and I would wet the filter, and then I
Pour it
would
over
pour
again.
it through. Then it would be
So then it would-
perfectly
yeah.
clean.
Yeah.
You know,
that's-
like all the little stuff would be gone.
That's a
So,
good idea.
Let me ask you this. We have seen some very strong reactions out of Jared today, like very strong reactions. So if somebody presented you with this as a gift, like, hey, we got you the DCB10 from Cuisinart,
Or a quick cold brew system.
what's
I
your
wouldn't
reaction?
return it. I'd keep it.
Yeah.
You would? Would you ever use it?
Yeah.
You would?
Emergencies.
Yeah. My wife would use it way more than me.
Okay.
But, yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm comfortable with the idea of being as good as your wife. Like, I'm comfortable with that. Because, like, if we're.
That's
like,
a ringing endorsement.
Whoa, watch it now. There are other variables to that. She's not just about coffee.
Sure.
Well, I'm not just about coffee either, Jared.
Okay, true.
Okay, so I'm just saying when it comes to coffee, if she can live in the same house as you
And
What's
still
that
be
supposed to
okay
mean?
with that?
I'll tell you exactly what it means is that I feel like, Jared, what I've seen today is there's an underlying aggression that I could see.
That coffee brings out.
Yeah, like I can see it.
His love for coffee.
She likes it as much as I do, though. So
She likes what as much as you do?
coffee. So we're good.
No, she doesn't.
Well, not as much, but close enough that we're fine. Like if you like, we're in the same like sector of people when it comes to coffee.
Okay, how many sectors are there?
3. I don't know. I just made that up.
So now the question is, what sector are we in, Nikki?
I don't even want to ask that one. I don't know.
We're probably not allowed to go over to Jared's sector. Well, dude,
Probably
thank you
not.
for spending like an hour with us this morning,
Thanks.
drinking coffee, hanging out.
It's been fun.
I'm looking forward to hearing new Graceful Closure. It sounds really exciting.
Same. I'll send it to you.
Okay, I'm sure you will. I'll get it via Nikki in a weekly meeting. It's fine.
I'll pass it along.
I'm
It's
sure.
fine.
I'm sure it'll be great. So, Jared, for real, man, thanks for coming by.
Yep.
All
Thank
right.
Think Obadiah owns too many video games?
Get us out of here. Roger that.
Well, maybe you'll think differently when... Okay, you're right. There's no conceivable scenario where anyone needs that many. The Riot on RadioU.
Nikki, I'm going to need you to stand tall and speak on behalf of your entire gender.
Yeah, ready for that.
I need you to represent all women.
All women, I can help.
In this moment.
Let's
all right?
do it.
I do think this is a pretty fascinating study. A group of British and U.S. researchers at the University of Kent and Iowa State University, they did a study on women to find out what kind of men they are attracted to. And here's what they found. Forget about the physical stuff. Let's just talk about the way men treat women.
Yeah.
They were most attracted to benevolent sexists.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And so now here's something you have to keep in mind. Remember, benevolence, the really important part of this thing. So in other words, men that were chivalrous, men that treated women differently, but actually treated them better than they would treat men. Even feminists who said they absolutely do not want to be treated any differently than men were still more attracted to men who treated women with deference, preference, whatever.
Sure.
What they call benevolent sexism.
Yeah.
So because sexism is treating someone differently based on their gender. So they didn't like it if they were mean or, misogynistic, that kind of sexism.
But chivalry can still, some people who can consider it to be sexist still.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just
absolutely.
the other side of the spectrum with it.
So what do you think?
I think deep down we all want to be respected.
But more than other men?
No, it's nice if someone treats you respectful. And there's different types of chivalry and how a guy can, and at least I feel, treat me, where a guy can be respectful and hold the door open and not make it seem like, well, I couldn't. I just like if there's a guy who's doing it because he's nice and he just wants to do it.
Well, what if I hold the door for you because you're a woman, but I don't hold the door for a man?
Well, I think that's fine. But I think you should offer to hold the door for everybody. But I'm grateful that you held the door for me.
Well, how about this?
As long as you didn't say little lady as I walked by.
But
here, I got the door for you, little lady.
But they're saying
They're
that
saying they
women,
didn't like it.
like most women, would still be, that comment might be taken as demeaning, but they would still prefer benevolent sexism to equality.
Yeah.
Because, like, for example, let's say that we're doing something and you have something heavy to pick up. If you were a man, I would not help you.
Yeah.
In fact, I would be concerned that you would be very insulted if I offered to help you. But this is saying that most women would be grateful.
You're more than welcome to help.
Yeah. Well, the thing that is interesting.
There's still some differences between us. Like, you're right.
No, that's not equality. No differences.
Physically, there still can be. I might not actually lift something, and it's not because of me being necessarily a girl. It's just I'm not as strong as someone else.
I'm being completely honest. This is a hard one for me.
No, I know.
Because I was raised that you treat women differently. You treat them with more respect. You literally show preference to women over men. That's how I was raised. Like, that's how you're supposed to treat women. Now, though, I've spent so much time out in the world, et cetera, that there have been times when I have not helped women because I have literally thought, do not insult her by helping her. Would you help a man in this circumstance? No. Then do not help her. She is just as strong and capable as a man is.
But I think it shows through, your heart with that is not in a negative tone of doing it for somebody.
Right.
So I feel like it's nice if a guy is like that. Go ahead and do that. Even if that person can be rude back, just ignore it. More chances are you're helping, and that's nice.
I can still remember the first time that a woman was angry with me for holding the door for her.
That's
I do.
ridiculous.
I remember very clearly. I opened a door for a girl, and she goes, and she said, I am perfectly capable of opening my own door. And it was a 2-door swing, and she opened the door opposite.
Sure.
And
That's just being angry. There's no need for that.
I may have said something to her, but I wasn't mean. I just said my holding the door for you did not. I basically told her I wasn't implying that you.
Well, I feel like if you have that response back, you're acting like you think you're better than that person, that's not necessarily the case.
But those are the kind of things that if you get that kind of reaction enough, you start to go, oh, maybe I shouldn't.
Keep helping and keep being nice, and not even helping, just be nice.
Right.
Just be nice. If someone walks through the door, hold the door and help them. Doesn't matter if it's a guy or a girl.
Benevolent sexism, it says,
is still preferred.
Is preferred. Again, that's just the study. Some of you just got angry. I'm just reading. I'm just reading what the study says.
Sure.
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The riot exists because Radio U exists, and Radio U only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.
Violent vomiting.
Oh, don't. It's from the potluck food.
And watery diarrhea.
Stop it!